We now have a pretty good idea about how to get started with Terraform. We have learned how to write simple configuration files using HCL, declare and use variables, use reference expressions, and link resources together. Now, let's get introduced to Terraform state and see what really happens under the hood when we run Terraform commands to provision infrastructure. Before we understand Terraform state, let us see the Terraform workflow once again. We have a configuration files in a directory called terraform-local-file. The main Terraform configuration with the resource blocks is defined in the file called main.tf. The variables used are defined inside the file called variables.tf. At this point, we do not have the local file resource created. First, we'll run the terraform init command to download the necessary plugins. Next, we can generate the execution plan by running the terraform plan command. The very first line that is printed when we run this command shows that Terraform tries to refresh the state in memory prior to the plan. Since it's the first time we are running the terraform plan command, there will be no details related to state printed, therefore implying that there is no state recorded at this moment in time. From this, Terraform also understands that currently there are no resources provisioned based on the configuration files, and then creates an execution plan of create. Moving on, let us now run terraform apply. This command also tries to refresh the in-memory state, finds that there is no state recorded at the moment, and then proceeds to create an execution plan. Once confirmed, Terraform creates the local file resource as expected. Terraform creates a unique ID for the resource as seen in the command output. And as expected, we can see that the file has been created with the content that we provided. Now, what will happen if we run the terraform apply command again? Terraform knows that a local file resource by the name of pet and the same ID that we just saw already exists, and it takes no further action. So, how does Terraform know that? How does it know that the local file resource already exists? To understand that, let us check the contents of the configuration directory again. We can now see that there is an additional file called terraform.tfstate created in this directory. This file is called the terraform state file, which was created as a consequence of the terraform apply command that created the resource in the first place. This file is not created until the terraform apply command is run at least once. The state file is a JSON data structure that maps the real-world infrastructure resources to the resource definition in the configuration files. If we inspect the contents of this state file, we can see that it has the complete record of the infrastructure created by Terraform. In this case, we have a single resource of type local file and a logical name called pet. The details such as the resource ID, provider information, and all the resource attributes are stored within this file. It contains every little detail pertaining to the infrastructure that was created by Terraform, and it uses it as a single source of truth when using commands such as terraform plan and apply. If we make a change to the configuration file now and rerun the terraform plan or apply command, Terraform by default refreshes the state again and compares it against the configuration file. It now knows that the resource argument called content has a different value in the configuration file as compared to the Terraform state and the real world. The configuration value uses the string "we love pets" for the content argument, but the state file record shows that the actual content in this file is "I love pets." And as a result, Terraform knows that the resource must be recreated, and when we run terraform apply, it updates the state file as well. From the output of the apply command, we can see that the older local file resource with the older ID is deleted and replaced with a new resource with a completely different ID with the updated content. The same can be seen in the Terraform state file as well. It no longer has a reference for the older resource ID and now has the details recorded for the replaced file resource. At this point in time, the configuration file and the state file are in sync. And since they do not have any differences, there will be no changes to apply subsequently. The example we have used here contains only a single resource, and the same is reflected in the Terraform state file. In a real-world scenario, a Terraform configuration may contain numerous resources belonging to several different providers. Irrespective of the size of the infrastructure, Terraform will always create a state file and use it to store information about the state of the infrastructure in the real world. It is non-optional. In the upcoming lectures, we'll see why state is so important in Terraform.